Hello and welcome to our Owl About Rice parent webinar in conjunction with Student Success Initiatives. My name is David Humphrey. I am the Assistant Director of Parent Family Engagement here at Rice, and we are so pleased that you've joined us today. To our newest Rice parents in the room, welcome to the Rice community and congratulations to your students and family on this great accomplishment. We are excited for your students to be embarking on this journey. And if this is your first Owl About Rice parent webinar that you've viewed, we're glad to have you and encourage you to check out the recordings of some of our previous webinars. You'll be able to find some helpful recordings of discussions that we've had with various student support offices on campus. And you'll be able to find those recordings at parents.rice.edu/webinar. If for any reason you need to step out of today's presentation, please also know that a recording of the webinar will be made available at that page in the coming days. I am joined today by some of my colleagues from the Office of Student Success Initiatives, Taylor Brashears, Mithi Hati, and Araceli Lopez. I'll allow them to introduce themselves and share about their roles at Rice, but their office are the primary coordinators for student and family onboarding through O-Week and New Families Orientation. In addition, they support ongoing programs that help students throughout their time at Rice. So you'll be learning a lot about the various resources offered to your students during this presentation. After the presentation, we'll move to a Q&A where our panelists will answer some of your pre-submitted questions, as well as any questions that may pop up for you during the presentation. You can feel free to submit any questions you have today through our Q&A function, which we will be using to answer questions live after the presentation. If we do not get to a question that you ask, please also feel free to reach out to our office by emailing parents@rice.edu or the Student Success Initiatives office by emailing oweek@rice.edu. And we will make sure that your question gets to the right place. Without further ado, I will hand it off to Mithi to get us started with introductions and the presentation.
Thank you, David. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to Rice. My name is Mithi Hati. I'm the Assistant Director at Student Success Initiatives. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to introduce you to our office's purpose, the different functional areas within our office, and how we advise and support our students. Taylor, you want to go ahead and share the screen so we can show everyone our slides? Okay, so this is our purpose. So at the Office of Student Success Initiatives, also called SSI, our team is dedicated to supporting undergraduate students' transition, retention, and graduation. So what this really means is that our goal is to ensure that every student feels supported when they arrive on campus as a freshman, that they stay on track while they're at Rice, and that they successfully graduate from Rice and thrive while they're here. So how do we do that? We do that by providing proactive advising. So proactive meaning, while we do encourage our students to be proactive themselves and reach out to us when they need, as a department, we don't wait for students to reach out to us. We actively reach out to students and invite them to connect with us and meet with us. So over the next slide, I'm going to talk to you a little more about our structure and the different teams within our office. So as you can see, we're kind of split. We have 4 arms, 4 teams over here. Holistic advising is a team that Taylor and I work for, but it's also a part of a lot of the other teams. But this is kind of the crux of what we do. So what it really means is that our advising that we do is not one-dimensional. We look at the student as a whole person. So during our students' time at Rice, anything that would impact their academic or social development as a student is our business. So this includes talking about study strategies, time management, engaging with their professors and faculty, getting involved at Rice with extracurriculars. So we meet with the general undergraduate student population, and I'll talk more about what holistic advising means further down. The next team here is first year program. So this is a team that plans and executes orientation week, which I'm sure you're eager to join in about a month here. So O-Week is a week-long transition program to welcome our freshman students and families as well. and acquaint them with all things rice. So New Families Orientation, which takes place on Sunday, August 16th, is also planned by the first year program FYP team, and we'll be talking about that more shortly. And then finally, Owl Access is the team that plans a 3-day pre-orientation, pre-O-week program for our first generation unlimited income freshmen. So a few years ago, we surveyed our current students, our current FGLI students, to kind of ask them what would have helped them more with their transition. And they arriving earlier and having a more intimate or introduction to rice would have helped them transition more successfully. And that's how Owl Access came about. We'll also talk about that in a little bit in more detail along with dates. And REST, which stands for Rice Emerging Scholars Program. This is a 6-week program that is held in the summer for students that are about to matriculate in the fall. So our students that are part of the REST cohort for this year are already here. They'll be attending STEM classes throughout the week, and they're paired with upperclassmen that mentor and tutor them while they're here during the 6 weeks. So it's a residential academic program. They're already on campus, and it's designed to kind of introduce our first year students before classes begin, to introduce them to like the challenging pace, the depth and rigor of the STEM curriculum here at Rice. We do have additional programs that go beyond advising beyond our O-week and pre-matriculation programs, namely Access and Opportunity Portal, the Meal Swipe program, Moody Opportunity Fund, Pantry, and Unit. And we'll also be telling you more about that a few slides down. Okay, so I talked about a bit about SSI advising and holistic advising, right? So let's talk about how SSI supports our students. So our advising is available to any undergraduate student at Rice. So yes, we do meet with a lot of freshman students when they're here to help them transition at Rice, but we also meet with upperclassmen all the way through graduation. So there's no wrong time to reach out to us, really. So as you can see, there's a wide range of concerns that fall under the scope of our advising, right? As your student is coming into Rice and trying to fit into Rice and the new classes that you hear, that transition can be rough for them, or at the very least, it can be challenging and difficult. And this is most likely your scholar's first time away from home. And while that's tough for the student, it's also tough for you because you need to learn how to support them from a distance. So if your student is struggling with things like time management or studying independently, I want you to know that that's very, very, very normal. The transition from high school to university is sudden, and they are expected to kind of grow leaps and bounds overnight. So a lot of the time, students kind of try to figure out on their own. Our students are smart, your students are smart, and I'm pretty sure they feel like I can handle it on my own. So as you're trying to support them from a distance, I'd like to encourage you to support them by encouraging them to reach out to services like ours so that we can connect with them and we can help them feel like their experiences are normalized. So touching quickly on things like time management and study skills. Coming into university, a lot of students feel like they want to take on all of the extracurriculars that they were also doing in high school, or take on more than they might be able to handle before they, explore their academics. And that can be a lot for our very bright and overachieving students. So we help them kind of balance what's going on inside their classroom with what's going on outside their classroom, and help them prioritize both their academics and non-academic pursuits. Things like study skills, studying in high school can be very different from what studying in university is like. And we teach them concrete strategies based on what kind of class they're in, whether it's a STEM science-based class or a non-STEM class. We teach them strategies to help them thrive. Strategies that might have worked in high school might not work in university. So we teach them new skills to help them, learn on their own, but also connect with their support system. Next slide. So our meetings are prolonged, and what that means is they're in depth. We meet with our students for 45 to 50 minutes. So we really get to know your student and explore their challenges together. So when we meet with them, we get to know them. And together with your student, we create an individualized plan. So we mutually decide what's going to be helpful for them, how often we should meet. Some students say, hey, I just need one meeting and we're good to go. But most of our students, we meet with them weekly, bi-weekly, or sometimes monthly as a check-in. So our goal in helping them succeed is to create a support system that goes beyond student success initiatives, by introducing them to various opportunities, by introducing them to their faculty to make sure that they're connected and feel confident in reaching out to their faculty and other resources at Rice. So this is how our student can make an appointment. So they go to success.rice.edu, which is our home website for our department. And as soon as they log in, you'll see a schedule now button. It takes them to a portal that only students can access through their Rice ID, and they'd be able to meet with one of 3 SSI advisors. Okay, so Unit 110 is a class that's a foundational course that students have the opportunity to enroll in the upcoming fall semester. So there's a very small window of opportunity for students to enroll in this class. They can enroll in their first year at Rice. So either in the upcoming fall semester or the spring semester right after. But after that, they won't be able to because Unit 110 is only open to first year students, only our freshman students. So the class is small. I would say it's an average of 10 to 15 students. What makes Unit 110 unique is that it's very discussion based. It's very interactive. So students talk about real experiences, things like managing stress as a university student, building relationships, balancing responsibilities, their newfound independence for the first time. They get to discuss that and talk with their peers and understand what other students are going through. So as they learn that, hey, other students are going through the same transition, it helps them build community early on, right from when they arrive, and it helps them see that they're not alone in their experiences. So the goal of this course is to help students adjust to college, not just academically and personally, but we also kind of also explore the academic and career goals. We teach them practical skills like time management and study strategies, how to navigate campus resources. We have staff members from various resources and departments on campus come into this class, and they get to meet with them in a small group basis to really untap their potential here. So it's not only about building confidence, but also a sense of belonging as they get to know one another as a community. The course is designed to set students up for success, not just in their first semester, but they really engage in critical thinking about who they are as a student and who they want to be within their student career as a student leader, going beyond a student in their career and academics. So it makes them think not just in the here and now, but who do I want to be during my college journey and beyond. So we really engage in that critical thinking piece with them. Yeah, over to you, Taylor.
So one of the priorities of our office is supporting first generation and limited income students. And so we wanted to include this definition so that you all can self-select or your student can self-select if they identify with this definition. A student who is first in their family to complete a degree program at a comparable level. So not everyone has a college degree, or then there might be people who have a college degree from outside of the US, but navigating the Rice system, navigating the US system can be very different. And we're looking to see if students have that cultural capital, that understanding of, okay, whenever I show up at a new environment, how do I navigate this? So this is the definition that we work off of. It is a self-selected identity, and students can access resources or SSI whether or not they belong to this resource or this community or not. But we believe that everybody benefits whenever we focus on the students who do not possess this understanding and knowledge to how to navigate college. So one of the things that Mithy was talking about earlier is All Access. All Access is one of the ways that we support our FGLI students. It is a 3-day pre-orientation program, meaning that it happens before a week. They move in on Thursday, and so if your student is coming to All Access, we are so excited to meet them. It's a wonderful program, and we hope that you're attending as well because there is a 2-day family program as well. So this is I'll say like a uh, maybe slower orientation to all the support services because O week and orientation week is a blast, but it is a lot happening all at once. And so this allows our students to have a little bit uh, quieter of a introduction to the program or to our support services. And they also get to see all of the other community members, like the FGLI community, that and they can see them and meet them and create a sense of belonging community together. There are some partnerships with QuestBridge as well. Other ways that we support FLI students is the network supporters training. So we do a training to our faculty and staff on how best to support our FGLI students. We also host community events regularly to create belonging and community and access to different resources. And we also offer specialized holistic advising for them. Other resources that are connected to the FGLI community, but not necessarily always used by the FGLI community, meaning that like everyone has access to these resources, but it was with the FGLI community in mind. We have the pantry. So that's one of the resources that our unit oversees. It is an anonymous resource, as in it's not staffed, there's no judgment. That is a best practice. Um, for students who are food insecure to access food, that it is unmanned. So we offer non-perishables and toiletries. We are always accepting donations of unexpired, unopened items, but that's where our students will be able to access some food if they are experiencing some level of food insecurity. Mainly, we see this in our off-campus population, students who have not selected to have a meal plan. Then there's also the Access and Opportunity Portal. This is a resource for students who are in a financial bind, meaning that they're not able to afford a textbook, and that can inhibit them from being able to participate in their classes more often because maybe they have to work. And this fund is dedicated to creating more access and opportunities for our students. So oftentimes it is like funding for a conference for their career or some support with graduate school applications or textbooks, or it could be like medical expenses, but it is a fund that is for students who are very much in need. And it is for non-emergency situations only. Then I really want to highlight the Moody Opportunity Fund. This is a fund that is there to support co-curricular opportunities. Any student can apply. They do not have to be on scholarship or from a limited income background. The co-curricular opportunities, it's such a cool chance for students to be very creative in their projects. If they want to create or build a drone, that could be funded. Or if they're wanting to go to a competitive uh, competition in Korea for cello or something like that. I've seen lots of different applications. Um, and a lot of us do serve on the committee to select this. So that's why I say that I've been able to see these applications. But it's something that your student could apply to. It happens twice a year. So that's also on our website if students have any questions. Okay, I quickly want to talk about the new families orientation schedule. So this is on Sunday, August 16th. So this is just to give a little bit of expectations. Araceli is going to talk about move-in information. So I'm going to talk about what the schedule looks like after move-in for the most part. So in the morning, you show up, bright and early or at your time, anytime between 7:30 and 11:30 to move into colleges. And then you'll have lunch in the colleges until 12:30. And then after that, that's whenever our students and our families separate. And the students will go on to start their orientation week, and you all will be oriented to all the different services that Rice offers. So first starting out with the introduction to college life with college leadership. So each college has a magister and a few resident associates and a college coordinator. And so those are the people that are very much most of them live there. And then the college coordinators are there to support and are there all day long. And so you'll be able to like meet those individuals and hear from them. Then there is some shuttles to Tudor Field House, excuse me, where there'll be a welcome with our Rice leadership, Dean Gorman and President DeRoche. And then from there, there will be some shuttles back, and you can attend our New Families Orientation, which involves the resource fair and information sessions from student support offices and other schools. So in that chunk of 3 hours, it'll be information overload, but very exciting. And so there's a chance for you to attend an information session from any of the schools. So if your student is a double major, depending on the time that the school selected, you might be able to attend both, or you might be able to just attend one. That doesn't mean that you won't have access to the information. A lot of times the schools are presenting on general information and just there to answer questions about the curriculum. There will also be support offices there presenting. Our office will be there. Well-being and counseling, study abroad, financial aid, academic advising. Academic advising does a presentation as well for pre-health, career development, and us again, because we are doing the resource fair and also doing an information session. So at the resource fair, it'll be all the offices above. The Student Disability Resource Center will also be there if you have questions. Then the Office of Academic Support for Undergraduate Students, which is our tutoring center, and then the SAFE office as well, who supports our students with healthy relationships, and more. The registration's open, so there will be more resources available to you where you can have individual conversations and just get some general information. Okay, now I get to hand it over to Araceli.
Hi, everyone. My name's Araceli. I'm the executive director for our office here, Student Success Initiatives. I've had the pleasure of working with Orientation Week for half of my career here at Rice. I've been here for 14 years. So I hope the next couple of minutes I'll give you a quick breakdown of what the week is going to look like for your new student, and then how to prepare yourself and your new student for our move-in. So the first thing I want to go through is Orientation Week here is all about the new student. So everything that we're doing is focused on the new students who are arriving. We do have our largest class yet. We're close to that 1,500 mark of new students coming in, which means there's going to be a lot of moving pieces and places to kind of just get everybody in order, specifically through move-in, but then through all the rigor and the schedule logistics that they go through over in the week. Their week is very packed because we do everything during O week, from course registration to the introduction to resources, while also getting them associated and acclimated into their new home, their residential colleges. So the way it would look like is on Sunday, we do move in, and then as you guys are going through New Families Orientation, they're getting to know their peers through their little O week groups and the upperclassmen that are going to help mentor and coach them throughout that week and that first year and beyond. On Monday through Thursday, they'll have some extensive academic planning. There'll be several sessions from our Office of Academic Advising who'll kind of go through what are the degree requirements, what does course registration look like at Rice, and then how to navigate our course planner and scheduling system so they start selecting their classes. In between that and Thursday, they will be having individual one-on-one appointments, what we call divisional advisors here. And those are advisors that are through each school that are experienced in all majors within the School of Humanities, all majors within the School of Engineering. And they kind of talk to them about what those first semester courses are going to look like for them to kind of help them create a schedule, get it submitted. Here at Rice, they'll finalize their classes on Friday morning. So they'll do all of that by Friday afternoon. Thursday afternoon, sorry, they'll submit all their classes. They go through a lottery system. Thursday evening, they find out what courses they got. And then all the way up until Friday morning, they get to add, drop, or put themselves in a wait list to finalize their classes. The introduction to resources is kind of taking up also a good chunk of their week. So we want to make sure that they are introduced and familiarize themselves on how to reach out to certain offices or when to engage with certain offices. The university has expanded its services within the last 5 years, and it's been wonderful to see. But we want to make sure that we're introducing and making the students aware that they don't have to navigate this first year on their own or beyond their first year. There's offices and there's people who are here to support them through that transition and keep them within a safety net that they don't face so many challenges, or when they do, they have somebody can help them navigate those things. And then, like I said, the other part would be social engagement. This is where their timing gets a little tricky because we do all of the academics and introduction to resources throughout the working day, so 8 to 5 kind of thing. And then the evening is really focused on them getting acclimated into their residential college. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with the residential college system, and they each have their own unique colors. With that also comes through OWIC that they have their own unique themes. Here at Rice, we have a tradition that whatever their theme is, it always ends in a way to flow into O week. So you could have Let It Go week, you could have just some s'more week, things like that. So by now, your students should have already been introduced to what their themes are by their O week college coordinators, and should be soon hearing a little bit more about what their schedule is going to look like uniquely for their um, O week. Next slide. Okay, so preparing for move-in. I know this gives a lot of anxiety and probably can build some frustration within our team because Rice does do things a little bit unique. And so I wanted to walk through you guys as parents of what this is going to look like. So we're in a very exciting time here at Rice with our undergraduate population and graduate population growing and the implementation of a new residential college, that we need to ensure that the traffic flow is running good. So every college has a arrival window and every student has an arrival time. So as Taylor mentioned before, our arrival window is from 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Most of the colleges are done moving in students, meaning like the last probably slot that we probably give is like 8:30, but we run a machine. So every student, you'll see a snapshot of here of some students from our McMurtry, our O-Week advisors. We have over 600 students who are supporting throughout O-Week. They are going to greet you whenever you arrive to the residential college, and you're going to feel swarmed, and it's going to be exciting because they're also going to be cheering on and welcoming your new student and yelling their name. And then they're going to take it from there. They're going to walk you through and tell you, like, check-in is over here. One person stays with the car, and we are going to unload your car and move all your new students' belongings into their room. So each of your students will receive specific instructions on how to label the packages that they're coming into. Taylor, if you can jump to the next slide for me, please. Um, I want to make sure that you guys label it with your student's full name, the room number that they're in, and the residential college. Just so in the chaos of bringing things up, everything is labeled and going into the right room. And by the time you arrive to the room with your student, the majority of your stuff is there, and you're already getting your student ready and settled into their new room, meeting with their roommate, possibly their roommate's family members as well. I will share with you a detailed route and a campus map so that you have a better understanding on how to move through campus, because I do assign specific entrances to each of the residential colleges, and each residential college has a specific route to follow. Our campus, although small and mighty, it does share an inner loop. And so I want to ensure that we are avoiding bottlenecking through the inner loop and that things are running smoothly. And so it's why we have arrival windows. It's why we have specific routes. It's why gates will open up at certain times, is to keep that traffic flow going and not have you wait in your car too long to wait for your turn to get to the unloading station for each of the residential colleges. Um, that is pretty much it in the moving circle. Taylor covered enough of the NFO. So we will open it up at this time for questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Araceli, Taylor, and Mithi for sharing your insight and being able to provide some context for these various areas of y'all's portfolio. I will echo what Araceli just mentioned, with the kind of intention around the organization of move-in, and coordinating all of the different colleges' times. It is a well-oiled machine, and the main feedback that I always get from parents is to follow the exact arrival window that you're given in that email, which will usually come. Araceli, would you say a week or so before move-in?
Yes, we actually are
Okay.
finalizing right now with the construction of Chow and Lovett Insider Bit for those who are attending. I did the walkthrough yesterday and I just needed to finalize those plans. So I just need a couple more individuals in the senior leadership to approve it. And then you should be receiving that at the end of this month, early August, actually.
All right, perfect. Yes. So definitely keep an eye out for that communications. And then following those instructions, we'll do the best way to make sure that move in and that day is as seamless and peaceful a process as possible. But thank you again to our panelists for sharing during this presentation. We are now going to transition to our Q&A portion. So thank you to all of you parents who have submitted questions both beforehand and through the Q&A. Due to the volume and the range of questions that we've received, we will do our best to answer as many questions as we can, but we will be prioritizing those questions that pertain specifically to student success initiatives and the programs discussed today. So if you've submitted a question, we're not able to get to it today, we apologize in advance, but we do also encourage you to follow up with each of our offices. A week at rice.edu will be a good way that you can reach any questions pertaining to the incoming student process. And then parents at rice.edu, which is my office, we can help you to direct any additional questions as well. But I want to start with, we received a few questions pertaining to the University 110 course. So Mithi, wanted to see if you could lend a little bit of insight into how and when students are made aware of that course, and just kind of share a little bit more about what students can expect with signing up for that program.
Yeah, sure. So, Unit 110 is promoted to all our students through the newsletter, which they have been receiving this summer. So they should hear about it soon in one of the newsletters. And our parents will also receive information about Unit 110 in writing through the parent newsletter as well. So you're welcome to also talk to your student about it. In terms of registration, Unit 110, they can add it to their course load once course registration starts, which is after they arrive. And Unit 110 is capped at about 15 students. The most we've gone up to is 18 students through special registration. But it's a small class. We want to keep it small because it's discussion based and we want them to be able to get to know one another. So we cap it at 15 students.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for sharing that, Miti. Let's go to another question. This one is pertaining to kind of the course registration process, and what students will take part in during O week. So we had a parent ask, what courses will students register for during O week with their intended study, and just kind of expressing interest in how that process works. Araceli, do you want to kind of lend some context into that?
Sure. So what happens, and I'll probably will be able to answer a few of these other questions we have in the Q&A. If your student is going to be receiving any transfer credit through their IB courses, or they took some courses at a college during as a co-curricular to their high school, those transcripts can be sent to the registrar's office and be transcribed. And by the time they get to O week, if they should be in the system, but if not, they should bring a copy with them. When they meet with that divisional advisor, they'll talk through the courses that they already are coming in with, and we can kind of give them an idea what Rice will accept and how that will transfer over. And then we'll talk about what those first semester courses look like. Each degree plan is different. And Rice is very fluid for a lot of our courses in the sequential order that they can take it. But some of the things that are general across the board is their first year, they will be taking their freshman seminar class for writing. And they may be selected to take it in the fall, or they may be selected to take it in the spring. It just depends on really a lottery that kind of just tells them, you've been selected to take this that time. And then the rest of it will be based off of interest. So our distribution courses here are courses where students can just get a breadth of information from either the humanities courses, social sciences, or STEM courses. And we require students to have at least 3 courses from each of those in addition to their major requirements. So they'll be meeting and kind of talking through this is a course that typically our first year students take if they're wishing to major or their intended major is psychology. Or if their intended major is STEM, then it may be being like, okay, well, you have to enroll for Math 101, which is our calculus. You'll have to enroll for chemistry. And, the other third one really depends on what your focus is. So if it's civil engineering, mechanical engineering, that physics class may look a little bit different. But they'll have all of that one-on-one advising during the week and have a solidified schedule. I know there was a question about if students or parents can view the courses. Our courses.rice.edu is open to the public, and you can kind of scroll through that. Students are also encouraged to scroll through that before they arrive. And then each of the schools and departments has already like their suggested degree plan on there, and that can kind of give the idea to a student of like what I should be registering for or what I should be interested in for when I get here for O week and make things a little bit more efficient for them.
All right. On the a week note, and kind of while we're on this subject of kind of moving into campus, we do have a few questions about the move in and drop off question itself. So, as mentioned, there will be a designated time that is sent to you with instructions on how to enter campus, where to enter campus, and when. But we do have some questions about where the parking will be after drop off, and then also what that timing looks like with parents having access to the room itself, and if there's potential to like bring any items in after that initial drop off.
That's a great question. So, included in my instructions for the route, it will also include once you're done unloading, how to go into our west lot for parking. West lot will be the parking for everybody during a week, and I will have shuttles running on Sunday a little bit more than usual, just to keep the flow and not have parents hopefully lingering around too much waiting for a shuttle to get back. We are in Houston. It is August. It is going to be hot. So I try to stay mindful to give you guys at least a little bit of AC in between everything that you're moving through. Um, there is a question about the shuttle service. There is a website and an app that you can download to kind of track where the shuttle service is. So in case you're like, do I wait in my car before I see it's going to come, or do I just wait, at the bus stop into getting that? Typically it runs pretty fast. Again, we're a small campus, so it could take you about 2 to 3 minutes to get to Westlot. Then you're really just waiting on the shuttle, and the shuttle will probably bring you back within the next 5 minutes, including, through all the stops that they have to take. I do streamline the route so that they're a little bit more faster, and so they're not stopping in everything. It's specifically if you are going to the South colleges, get on this bus. If you're going to the North colleges, get on this bus, and it's labeled so you know where it is. You'll know if your student is a North College or a South College because that'll also be in their instructions of for our move-in route.
All
Did you
right.
get all of that? Okay,
I think so, yes.
okay,
A couple of follow-up questions on the
sure.
move-in as well. There's a couple of families who have asked if they have multiple students, twins moving in, if that will should be treated as separate processes, just kind of with the timing and planning of cars. And then also some questions from people coming in from out of state or further away who may not be driving to campus about recommendations on whether getting a vehicle as a rental would be helpful with moving items in and also just tangibly getting to the campus.
Yeah. Okay. That was a loaded question. So let me make sure I get everything
Yes,
in there.
sorry.
No, it's not good. Okay. The first part of that was remind me, David, sorry.
Okay, yes. Multiple students per family.
Oh, yes. So if you have multiple students who are coming in and they're not in the same residential college, we may not certainly know that your students are siblings. And so I would encourage your students to reach out to their O-Week coordinators. Those are our student leaders who are going to be in charge of setting up the times and let them know, hey, I have a sibling who's going to be at X college. You know, they've already received their move-in time. It's going to be this. And then they can work together on making sure that they give you time to move in one student and then they can go and move into the next one. So you don't kind of miss your window or there's not a hiccup of where you think that, they've gotten lost or we missed them. So definitely have them reach out to their O-week student coordinator, not to be mistaken by the college coordinator. The other part of that was I would strongly encourage getting a car, even if it's for Saturday to Sunday. Just be in case, especially if you're out of state or out of the Houston area, if you need to make a run to the store, you have a vehicle and you have somewhere to kind of keep your belongings and help within that move-in process. Where we're located, there's not really a lot of stores that are within walking distance. And again, because of the heat, I would strongly advise, against it. I'm a Houstonian, so I feel like I can say that fairly. But the car would be very helpful for you, especially as you're moving through the move-in routes, right? And getting it in line and information to unload your car. If you're not familiar with our campus, if you just get dropped off at, Lovett Hall, it may mean that you have a longer track to get to your student's residential college, and it'll just be a very frustrating and inconvenient experience for you guys. So we have had students who have brought in an Uber before with their families, and that works as well. Most of our Ubers and Lyfts here are very familiar with our campus, and so if they're picking up within the nearby hotels, or if you got an Airbnb nearby, they kind of know how to navigate. You'll just give them the instructions that I had shared with you about moving and that your student will receive from their OB cord, and they'll get you to your desired spot. Did I miss one?
No, I think that covers those questions. Another question that we get commonly is just surrounding getting someone's packages to campus or getting materials that you need for move-in to campus before the move-in day itself. So, Araceli, would you want to share a little bit more about what our policy is and just kind of what families will typically do when they're coming out of state with a lot of luggage or things for move-in?
Yes, unfortunately, at Rice, our residential college systems are outsourced over the summer, and that leads up all the way until a couple of maybe like a week or two before a week. And then it becomes cleaning, sanitizing, and getting the college ready for our new students to arrive. A lot of the times, each of the residential colleges just have a very small mail room, and their overflow room might be just a closet. And those things can get mixed up with things that are being mailed in by their student leaders that are here or the supplies that were getting mailed. And so we just want to avoid the risk of your student's package being misplaced or picked up by somebody else. And then that student may be like, oh, I'll return it later. And then they kind of forget because they get into the wind of things. So I would encourage you, if you want to ship things, to wait until after move-in. You could probably time it a bit where you're completing an order and it could get here on Monday. The way that it works here at Rice is if you ship anything to your student to their residential college, it's first going to go, actually in any department, it's first going to go into our main mail room and then they'll deliver it to the residential colleges. The reason that happens is for safety issues within the residential colleges. They are swipe access, so you have to have Rice ID to be able to enter those. And so now the university has moved to a central location where FedEx, UPS, Amazon delivers to, and then we in-house take it to the individuals. If you're concerned on move-in day of like, oh my God, we forgot XYZ, and you run to the store, if you work with the college coordinator, you'll have an opportunity to come back and drop it off. Again, just make sure that you label it with your student's name, their residential college, and their room number, and give it to the college coordinator, and the college coordinator will make sure that your new student gets it. Because the rest of the week is going to be busy, you could probably schedule in a drop off like that if you're going to be here, but you won't necessarily be able to meet up with your student to give them the belongings. And so really talk with your college coordinator. That is the admin that oversees all the logistics and operations within the residential college, and they'll help you out in getting those items to your student.
Yes, thank you for handling that question as well, Araceli. And I would also reiterate the college coordinators are absolutely a fantastic resource for parents to reach out to. Typically, their information is listed online to where if you do have a specific question about just kind of a package or something like that, or wanting to get more context about getting things to your student-specific college, they are rock stars and more than willing to help out in addressing some of those questions. I want to throw it over to Taylor. We've received a few questions about new family orientation. One just kind of surrounding the timing of like how much time parents and families will have in the rooms of four, kind of the goodbye and start of new families orientation. And then also regarding whether additional family members are welcome to join for new families orientation.
So I have never actually seen, I might throw the first question to Araceli about how long the formal goodbye is. I know that on the schedule, we give them about 15 minutes. So it's very quick. So I'll let her talk about that in just a second. But to answer the second question, yeah, all family members are welcome to new families orientation. Now, there won't like any siblings or parents won't be able to go see the students like for matriculation or anything. But as far as like attending all the sessions, grandparents are welcome, the whole lot can come to any of the information sessions.
Okay. It is a short time with the goodbyes, but you have all of lunch with them. So we will, after move-in, as we kind of close off move-in in time and call everybody in for lunch at 12, you will eat with your student. Yeah, siblings are allowed to stay through that entire time in the formal goodbyes. We'll kind of announce at this point we'll be, departing, we'll be separating. New students will go with their OE groups. Families, you'll stay in the residential serveries and common spaces to hear from the College Core team. And it'll feel very quick. And we name it formal goodbye, but I always like to say it a see you later, because you'll have the opportunity to meet with them again and hopefully they can go back home for midterm recess and then the Thanksgiving break before winter break to kind of see them. So it will feel short from the time that we make that announcement. So I would say definitely use all your morning, your lunch, in preparation to just prepare to say, farewell and off your new student goes into getting ready for college.
All right, excellent. We did also have one question from a parent with regards to the new family orientation and just planning on how long they should expect or need to be in Houston, whether it's a fly out Sunday night or Monday, the 17th. Tossing to Taylor, or anyone who might want to lead some insight into what they'll want to make sure they don't miss.
If you don't want to miss anything and you want to take full advantage of New Families Orientation, it'll end at 6 o'clock, 6:15 on Sunday. If you have a flight Sunday night, that probably depends on what airport you're flying out of. If it's Hobby, that might be like manageable to get there around like 8:30, 9 o'clock for your flight at that time. But if George Bush might be pushing it a little bit just from personal experience, since George Bush has a lot of construction at this time. And so I typically add in a lot of extra time for TSA security and navigating George Bush. But if you're flying into Hobby, which is a smaller airport in Southwest, predominantly, it's pretty small, and so I think that a Sunday night flight would be manageable. Otherwise, I would consider flying out the morning of Monday the 17th, personally.
All right. Well, we are drawing the close of our time here today, but I wanted to thank our excellent panelists once again for lending your insight and being able to share about these various aspects of kind of the transition into Rice and the resources that'll be available ahead of time and once they are there. Um, for all of you parents, thank you for attending and submitting your question. I know that we received a wide volume of questions and we did not get to all of them. So I would just like to reiterate again, feel free to email the Student Success Initiatives office, oweek@rice.edu, for any questions pertaining to the kind of move-in and new student process. And then for any additional questions, or if you don't know exactly where your question should go, parents@rice.edu is a great place to go to, just to make sure that you can get those questions answered. I do also want to plug one more resource that we actually had a quick question about in the chat. So let me share this with everyone, but we do also have an official Rice Parent to Parent Network Facebook page that is a vetted group of fully 100% current Rice parents. So our office makes sure that that community is maintained and regulated to where it is all helpful information coming from actual parents and people who have lived in these shoes before. So I know that a number of you attendees are probably already a member of that group, but if you have not yet joined that group, that is one of the most helpful online communities to where you can ask additional questions and get insight from the people who were in your shoes 1, 2, 3 years ago. So I leave that as something that I encourage you to look into. And again, thank you to our panelists. Thank you all for being here. And we are so excited for each of you as you begin this journey. If you miss any point of this webinar, there will be a recording made available at parents.rice.edu/webinar by the end of this week. Thank you all so much again for attending, and go Owls!
Thank y'all. We'll see you in a few days.